We've reached that point in the quote-unquote off-season where if you're unsigned as a player, there's a high chance you're going to remain unsigned going into the season. This is an especially concerning notion for a couple fairly major free agents, including Alex Verdugo, JD Martinez, and who we're going to be talking about today, Anthony Rizzo. You see, what makes Verdugo and Martinez different from the big lefty is that Alex, even if he is coming off a down season, has youth in his favor, as he's yet to turn 30, and JD, even if 2024 wasn't his most productive season, still has some elite contact peripherals that indicate there's more in the tank for any team that wants to take a chance on signing him. For Rizzo, neither one of these things really apply. He's about to turn 36, almost as old as Martinez at 37, and his batted ball data looks closer to a slap-hitting second baseman than his old slugging self, as he was in the 18th percentile or lower last year in expected slugging, average exit velocity, barrel percent, chase percent, and bat speed. For a guy who was once a lock for 30 homers a season, this is hard to watch, and it's really bore through in his results over the last half decade or so as well. Since 2020, Rizzo has only had one season with an OPS plus over 112 in 2022, with this year also being the only one in which he's managed to hit over 22 homers. In that same time span, he's never batted over 248 and has only posted an OPS over 800 once. But even with this general decline, it's been a sharper slide over the last couple seasons on a level he had never operated on before. Over these last two campaigns, he's played in just 191 games with 20 homers, 76 RBI, nearly 3 times as many strikeouts as walks, and an OPS in the high 600s. So, what's been the cause of this level of drop-off besides the natural aging curve? To put it simply, for Anthony, it seems to be injuries, and ones that have a severe impact on performance at the plate. Last year it was multiple arm-related fractures from a collision at first base and then hit by pitch. Issues like these, of course, can have a real effect on a player's ability to swing with any real force, which could be part of the reason his aforementioned bat speed was so poor last year, at a mark of just 68.5 miles per hour on average, exactly 3 miles per hour worse than a typical big league player. But perhaps an even bigger culprit was the major injury he suffered the year prior in 2023, when he collided with Fernando Tatis Jr. at first base, and then proceeded to try to play through what seemed to be concussion-related symptoms for a long stretch afterwards, only getting put on the IL almost 2.5 months later. Prior to his injury, he was slashing .304, .376, .505 with 11 home runs. Afterwards, he hit .172, .271, .225 with 1 home run, before getting put on the IL. And to be honest, he's never really looked like the same hitter since. And this really wouldn't be all that uncommon either. After experiencing multiple concussions themselves, teammates Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau, to name just two, were never quite the same, with the Hall of Fame catcher having to transition to first base while rarely slugging above 400 following, and the big lefty first baseman, quite similar to Rizzo in fact, only posting one season with an OPS plus above 120 following his own head injury, after being below that mark only once in a full season prior. So whether it's just his 6'3", 240-pound body aging poorly, concussion-related symptoms, or simply the sheer number of injuries he's had to sustain over the last few years, it really doesn't matter, because the result has been the same regardless. Teams just don't see that much about the soon-to-be 36-year-old worth signing, and that to me is a little tragic, considering the trajectory he once was on, as it seemed like he had a reasonable shot of reaching 400 homers, 2,000 hits, and maybe even garnering some down-ballot Hall of Fame consideration. Now it's an open question whether or not he'll be forced into retirement as a result of a lack of employment opportunities. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Is Rizzo going to be playing Major League Baseball in 2025? And if so, what do you think his numbers would look like? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing and checking out any one of these recommended videos. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.